Hey guys, so we're just going to start building out a flow for a client of mine. He's asked for a custom flow, and we're going to be finding all HubSpot users, like enriching the profiles and then be like reaching out to them. I literally just started. This is a brand new Airtable, and we're going to start everything from scratch. HubSpot one, and we're just going to want first name. So we're going to build like a complete like follow-up sequence for him, and we will also do a email follow-up sequence. Cool, I think that's all fine. And then if we just do last, specific fields, and we're just going to base that off when the message was sent. And then we were making connection status. Okay, and then we're going to rename this view to enrichment, and we'll make another view called outreach. And we can just make another view called like playground, and this is just where like the client can mess around and do whatever they want, and it's not going to interfere with the actual outreach. Is a pretty good way to do things. So we'll do LinkedIn, personal LinkedIn, connection status, contact email, first name. So we're just tidying this up a little bit. So we can just start to build like out some basic logic here. So we could do like connection status does not contain to, and connection status does not contain free, and message for is empty. We can also do like some reply tracking. We can do customized field type. Just to make this a little more like beautiful, we can do replied filter. Reply tracking is not replied. And we can do last is not. Days go one, and so we'll do like a 4-day window. Uh, 4-day, yeah, maybe 3-day actually. Okay, 3-day window I think is pretty good. So that's going to filter out all of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and okay. Okay, fine. Let's actually start off with a router. And I was going to make this in 2 separate flows, but I think we'll actually just do it all together. So we'll run an HTTP request to get the employees working at a company, and after that we will run another request, find email. Employees find email, and then sync both back to Airtable. So here we will do Phantom Buster. This will actually be a growth hacking module. Not actually going to be that, but okay. Just to lay out our scenario. Condition. So we can update record ID. In fact, let's run an iterator here. And that'll be a response from that. And then we want to do we'll create a record. And we'll delete a record. Okay, so the reason that we're doing this is because we want to we're going to have a list of like thousands of domains, and we're going to enrich and get the employees from LinkedIn, and we want to make sure that like if we're going to try and get multiple employees for every single person, we need to go and create them as a new record. So that's what we're going to be doing over here. And we're going to delete the original record. So as long as a result exists, as long as it's managed to extract employees, it will delete that record. It will iterate however many results we got. And this is actually going to be an email finder. And it's going to create a record with any emails that it finds. So that's going to be the first part of the flow. And then it will be invite and connect. Condition personal LinkedIn exists. And we'll connection status does not exist. And then it's just going to be update a record. And I'm going to make it so that he can actually add more accounts in future. LinkedIn cookie, Airtable API, account name. We'll do message one. Sorry, invitation message. Message two. Number of days to delay. Message three. Then we can do message 4. number of days to delay. Okay, and then we can just do something like each run. Okay, fine. Count signed. I'm actually going to change up this flow a little bit. Number of runs day 1. Okay, cool. And then we'll do add module. Search records. Actually, we're going to do this dynamically. We'll add a module, HTTP, make request. We're going to go into Airtable API. We're just doing this because Airtable API offers much more flexibility than using Integromat directly. Database table, list records. So if you remember earlier, the reason that we want this to be dynamic and we made it over here, yeah, I'm going to rename that actually, max records. Number of records to process. Number of view grid is called active accounts. Okay. And then need some logic over there. Airtable, what have we got here? Okay, let's just run a little request then. Cool, there we go. So it should have returned. Yeah, there we go. Straight away we want to put that into an iterator. The record. It's going to be ID. Just tidy that up a little bit. So then we'll run like contacts extracted today. Customer field type. Box style. Save. Condition. Yeah, Airtable employees. Clean that. So that can also be LinkedIn cookie. This is the reason that we're using this setup. LinkedIn cookie, and that can be profile URL. Cool. Run that again. To update a record. Connection status will be first. I'm also going to put growth hacking API in here as well. Just makes it easier to manage. So growth hacking API. That will be message number one. So now you can see like why we're doing this sort of structure. Then we can come down here, clean that up again. Message sender, API token. So now that we've built that like backend structure, it's just so much faster for us to just keep clicking these, and it means that you don't have to update every single one. It means you can add in like multiple different accounts. Why is cookies not showing? LinkedIn cookie. Profile URL. And then this is going to be message 2. So everything can now be managed from Airtable, right? And then we can clone that down. We LinkedIn message 3. And we can clone again. That'll be LinkedIn 4. So I'm just going to rename these. So this will be LinkedIn invitation, LinkedIn message 2, LinkedIn message 3, LinkedIn message 4. Cool. Clean up again. And then here we want to add Airtable, update a record. So ID will be coming from there. And currently we're looking at LinkedIn message 2. So then we'll just put in like the response under LinkedIn message 2, same for LinkedIn message 3 and message 4. It's going to be under message 3. be under message 4, user ID. Okay. So then what we need to do is condition now add days, and it's going to be last add days, and then because we've allowed the client to set the delay here, they can now do that. In fact, we don't even want a delay there. We don't want a delay on message 2. It's going to be connection status. Okay, I'm just going to do these last two whilst I've got that saved. Now, last, and then we put in the delay from there. Condition. Cool. We do later than or equal to, and again we're putting in now. Cool, and then we want an AND rule on both of these. So condition and message 2 exists and message 3 does not exist. And here we need and message 3 does not exist and message 4, just for the sake of this. It's a little extra barrier, but it is actually pointless logic now I think about it. Condition and message 4 is empty. Cool, save. I'm just going to clear out message 4 is empty. Cool, and then in order for this to go through, we want connection status contains 1 and message 2 does not exist. And here we need the condition does not contain true. Okay, so that is the general structure of the outreach set up, and now it's just a case of actually plugging these into function. And I'm just waiting for 2 companies to get back to me so we can actually start enriching some websites. So I'll come back to this a little bit later. Cool. So just to pick up from where we left off, one change that I made is added the employee extractor up here, and I think we're actually ready to start like running a few tests. So I'm just going to add in like a little test account here. So if we go and find like let's just run HubSpot, for example, company HubSpot. API, number of runs, none. Let's run just one company per launch, and Airtable API. I'll just put that in as well. So what this means is because we're going to be processing so many records, by adding the Airtable API, it means that, like, for example, here we have HubSpot 1, but in total there's going to be 660,000 records that we're enriching. So in total there's going to be about 13 or 14 databases different. There's going to be HubSpot 1 through to 14. And it means that you can assign multiple accounts, each to a different Airtable base, which is just quite an easy way to segment them. So it's as simple, by adding a new account, all you would do is paste another cookie for each account that you have. You can change the messaging or keep it the same for all of the accounts. And because we've structured the flow like this, where first off it searches for an account, and then it will go and find records associated to that account. Um, yeah, it's just like a really it's a good way to manage, like it's infinitely scalable. Like you could have hundreds of thousands even, like, which is actually what I'm sort of working towards currently. I'm trying to get up to like managing thousands of LinkedIn accounts. Even like tens of thousands is completely possible as well. um and yeah, it would just be interesting to have like an army of LinkedIn accounts. Okay, so client isn't coming back, so I'll just run a test like from my LinkedIn account. So if we just delete this condition, okay, yeah. So let's just okay, that's why. That has worked. Okay, cool. So it should then return us one record, and it should then go and scrape the employees working there, and this initial record will actually be deleted. And what was our response? Result object empty. Job to filter for. That's why. Fields. Okay, number of records to process, and then let's go for like, let's do head of marketing, and it's deleted itself. Okay, well at least that part has worked. Okay, cool. Let's try that again. com/company/Hubspot. Cool. So it's finding a record. And like currently the client is only going to use like one account in this flow, but I think like once he sees it up and running, he's going to want to very quickly be able to manage multiple accounts. So I'm just going to build that logic in just so he can do that in future. Okay, what was our response there? Cool. Okay, so we got the records. Great. So now we can start actually building in some logic. So we want to put the result object in there, email finder. We're going to go and put in the growth hacking API token, LinkedIn cookies. So now like you can sort of see how fast it is for us to do this. Email finder, we haven't released publicly yet actually, so I'll leave that out for now. Okay, cool. So now be a little bit dirty, but this will this is like another way, if you didn't know, you can do this. It's going to be website. Cool. Okay, and then we can just add in the rest of the information from here. So profile URL, connection status is going to be second, first name, last name, job title, LinkedIn is going to be that. Technologies installed can be empty. Scrape can be yes, and account assigned can also be empty. Let's just leave it like that for now. And if we add this in again, linkedin.com/company/Hubspot. So this time when we run, okay, great, yeah, so it's now working. Cool, so it got us 15 results from HubSpot that match the job title. Like we're not actually going to use any of these records. This is purely just for testing purposes. And let's just see why these aren't appearing. That's why. Okay, so I'm going to change this then to not send across the connection request. If I just come over into our playground, this is why we have like the different views, so we don't need to keep changing the views. Clear, and then this one can also be deleted. And if we come over into outreach, so we're not going to send over connection degree, and we're also going to do setup condition result object profile URL exists to make sure that we scraped at least one record from there. And now the original has been deleted, and we now have 15 records from that company that we can reach out to. We've got their job titles, and yeah, I think they're essentially ready for outreach. So what we will then do is, currently they're not assigned to anyone. So this is going to do just thought we may actually have to do this under two different routers. Okay, so it's going to be much easier to do it like this. Add a router here, and then but no, it doesn't need that. It needs to be here, and we're going to add a router. Setup filter condition ID exists, and then this other router, what we will do is if it ever runs out of records, condition ID does not exist, then we will route that down this path. The condition ID does not exist. Just tidy that up again. So I just need to rethink this logic. If ID does not exist, condition and then we'll do look up 5. And we'll make another flow. We'll make another view, sorry. Enrichment filter, add filter, where personal LinkedIn is empty and LinkedIn contains company, and scraped is, yeah, cool. So view needs to then be changed to enrichment. We need to do get request, and then from here, I'm just going to run a little example. So we're just going to run that. Airtable should return us from that view. And fine, we just get it to run one at a time. Run one. Delete a record. So it's sort of like killing itself on purpose once it's found a new result, right? So what I'll actually do is so basically all accounts will always be assigned to someone. So name is going to be here, and then if we assign all of these to Nathan Aston, it's going to throw an error, and because it can't find any records, they're going to be routed down here and it's going to find some new records and assign those to Chris, which is exactly what we want it to do. Website currently won't exist. Actually, that doesn't matter. It's going to be from here. Website. So that should then go and find us. I'm just going to delete these previous ones, but it will work with them, but we just want to keep this data pretty clean. We need to do a so basically it's going to look for records in this database. If it can't find them, it's going to go and scrape them and update it and assign it to itself, and then it's going to delete the original company and just create a load of new records. And if it has leads to reach out to, for example, if this has run smoothly already, then it's going to go ahead and start on the outreach. So I just want to change this HTTP request. Let's go into Airtable API. I'm going to do list records, and we want to do filter by formula. At least I hope that's why. Filter by name. Yeah, okay, cool. So failed on one parameter. What was that failure? LinkedIn company URL. Fields, company URL, records. Fields. Didn't like that for some reason. Okay, that's going to work, and it's going to go and add 10 records in here that will then actually appear in our outreach flow. Because currently it's only showing the companies. Cool, so it's adding those in, and then if that has worked correctly, they've now been assigned to Chris. So that is all set up to work correctly as well. So now what's going to happen is it's going to go and search for some records. And okay, sorry, there we go. And we need to do connection status. And personal LinkedIn exists. Let's run that again. Good. So because it's got records, Chris now has records assigned to it as an account. It's now going to go and send a connection request to these profiles, and it's going to update that has now been done. So one of them, let's get the output. So now we can add connection status. I think everything else we don't really need, to be honest. I think that's good. But why did it only process one record. It only returned us one record. Okay, that's why I told it to return us one record. So let's just test 2 this time. Let's run that. So first connection should go through. We can go back into the other database, Hubspot 1. And if we come into Playground, so 2 people have now received connection requests, and we can tell that because they will now have a connection status. Yeah, so 2 and 3, so they've gone through. I also forgot we need to update LinkedIn message 1. Message 1, we can put in the output. Let's just run that again. We'll come back into outreach. Let me just I'm just going to add in here like personal LinkedIn is not empty, not that it really matters, but yeah, so this number should now be going down. Cool. And I'm just going to run, I'm just going to go ahead and run like 8 records, and I just want to make sure that it will go and find more LinkedIn profiles for itself again. I'm 100% sure it will, but also just partly to give a little like demonstration. We've actually got a first level connection there that we're already connected with, which is good because now we can actually test the second part of the flow. And it's going to run 8 and then it should stop. Okay, so message 2 is empty, which is why that failed. So actually we can just go and just to show you how this works as well. So the message is actually being sent from here. So we need to change that into a long text. Long text. So we can put in, and just to show you how this works, we put in like hi first name. We can just say like how are you? Like I'm just testing, so I don't really care. And because we're using long text, it means it will grab these new lines and it will make sure that they're all put onto a new line. And then we can put like a 2-day delay, and yeah, message 3 you can just do like my first name, just following up. Number of days to wait. We can also just put in a message for 4 days. So it means that like the client can manage everything from here. And I'll just go ahead and run that. Cool, so it's going to send messages to those other 2 people. And cool, so that message was also sent successfully. So I can add that in. I'm just going to put in like result object. Message to sent. And now last should have actually updated. But in last is not today. Cool. And so that's fine. And then now if we run this again, as you can see, it's run out of records. So what it should actually do is go down this path and go and find itself more records, which it's doing correctly. Cool. So that is working perfectly, which is good to see. Cool. So yeah, because Chris ran out of records, it's now gone and found more records and it's now reassigned to him. So yeah, I think that is working great. Next thing that we can do is actually go and do context extractor not equal to so then every day, once per day, it's going to go through and check for context and look for associated records. So I'm just going to run that just so that we don't waste any time. I'm just going to do ID does not exist. Condition. Ah, is that why? Does not contain. Cool. So turn that off. Sorry, that's completely my fault. Save, and then we'll run that. And that's going to go and check everyone that we've connected with today. And then based on the URLs that we get as a response from that, we will go and update people to first level connections and then proceed with follow-up messages. Set it to run once. Sorry, that was very stupid. Condition, LinkedIn cookie. I'm actually going to remove this part of the flow and we're going to bring it over here. So as long as that is empty, that's going to run. Cool. Yeah, so that is now working correctly. There we go. And we just need to correctly put the output in here, which is going to be the result object. And same as before, we want to do filter by formula, and then we're going to do personal LinkedIn matches profile URL. And then we're going to do condition ID exists and connection status does not contain one. And if that is true, then it's going to update that person to a first level connection. Connection status first, very good. Nice. And what we could even do then is actually add on this part of the flow at the end of it, because why not? So it's going to go and every day it's going to check who's accepted our connection request, and then first thing they're going to get our message. And we can do that, profile URL, and then update a record. So there's going to be two different stages where the user can get message to, just in case they get missed out. Okay, yeah, that's going to work. And it's an invitation. Yeah, I think that's all going to work fine. And then what we may actually do is we just need to rewrite that logic. And we're going to do a Oh, it saved it. Wow. Another great feature from Integromat, I will say. So then we're going to do this path is, first off, let me add another module, growth hacking, message extractor, and we're going to run down this path, condition message 2 exists. Okay, so if message 2 has been sent, then we're going to send down this path, and we're going to put in growth hacking API, LinkedIn cookie, as always, LinkedIn profile URL, number of messages to extract. Yeah, we only want to extract the most recent message, actually. So let's come back over, and we're just going to make sure that it runs on that one record. Connection status contains 1. I'm just going to remove that, and I just want to download this message history just to put the logic in place. So it's now been filtered down that path. Cool, so we can just remove that. So then what we want to do is condition result object messages author does not contain, and then we need to do does not contain the account owner's name. That way it will then continue down this path. Here I forgot to do something, which is we need to update this person. To say contacts extracted today, true, save, clean up the flow. And yeah, I mean, we're actually pretty much done. Now we just need to work on getting all of the actual data into place. So we're going to work on enriching about 600,000 websites for this client, and we're only interested in reaching out to people using Hubspot, but the actual logic is all in place. You can use like multiple accounts. Everything is working correctly. LinkedIn message 3, LinkedIn message 4 exists. Message that needs to be deleted. It needs to be changed into 4. It needs to be changed into 3. Let me just add in a field for LinkedIn message 4. Okay, nice. So I'm just going to go through like the flow now that we've built everything out. So to start off with, it searches for an account in our database. This is an account that we're managing. It's going to have the LinkedIn cookie. It's going to have their messaging sequence, so it can be completely customized to each account. And it's then going to go into our leads database, and it's going to look for leads that have been assigned to that account. In this scenario, match the account name. If it doesn't find any leads that match that account name, it's going to go and find them. It's going to find companies, and then it's going to go in and extract their employees based on our client's criteria. It's going to delete the original record, and it's going to create new records for every single new lead that it finds. And then it's going to find leads and assign it to itself. So that part is completely automated. After that, once it's assigned leads to itself, it's going to go and send a connection request, as we've done, and it's going to go and update our database that a connection request has been sent. It's then also every day going to go and extract all contacts here. and it's going to tell us who has accepted our connection request in the past 24 hours, and it's going to go and update that they're a first level connection. Next time it runs, it will then go and send message number 2 that we defined in the other Airtable. So it will send a custom message, whatever follow-up the user wants. So this can be put in here. And it will then go and update Airtable that connection 2 has been sent. After message 2 has been sent, it will then go and download message history. And it will then go, before proceeding with follow-ups, if the user has not replied, it will go and then proceed to send 2 different follow-ups. So obviously there's going to be like delays, like on how frequently you run this. That's not all happening at once. This is going to be a flow over about 7 days or so. But that's all, everything is now built in already. And the only other thing that I'm going to add is an email finder. We've actually built this out within like the growth hacking module, although it's not public yet. So like we'll release that tomorrow, and I'll add that in, and then we'll just sync over to whatever email platform our client is using. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much most of the flow built. I just need to work on some more like management and like testing, because I'm sure that like there'll be some issues that come up. So I'll just go through like the entire flow. But now it's just a case of like enriching websites basically. Yeah, I hope that was quite insightful. I hope that you learned something. This is quite a clean flow. I like it. I like it a lot actually. And the fact that it goes and finds its own leads as well is going to be like 100% automated for the client. The only thing he needs to do is make sure he has enough accounts in here to get through like 600,000 leads. But yeah. Really, really interesting flow, super clean. I like it a lot. And yeah, any questions, as always, please feel free to leave a comment.